Testing influences our lives
it's always in the
significantly.
back of my mind.
Scores alone are used to make important decisions about
There's
students'
nothing
lives in
but
school.
misconceptions about
You
standardized
sort of feel
testing.
like you're a cog
It is
in a
time to
gear
fix
in
our
a
system of testing and accountability.
COVID-19 has exposed the vulnerability of the U.S. education system. Disparities in access to technology and online resources, among other factors, have exacerbated existing inequities.
I think we're really bad in this country at ensuring that everybody has an equal shot, an equal opportunity.
We all sort of have placed equity at the forefront of how we think about education, but we haven't really seen the fruits of that labor come to bear yet.
Even prior to the pandemic, many pointed to standardized testing as a root cause of the achievement gap, one criticism being that they are not fair or accurate measures of student ability.
It's one essay on one test on one day. You're so much more than that.
Testing absolutely is used to exacerbate the inequalities that exist.
The misuse of test scores have also contributed to the achievement gap.
I think the number one misinterpretation and misuse of scores is the belief that if you don't have a high score, it's your fault. Test scores have also been used as an excuse or an explanation to close schools that can harm communities.
In the early 2000s and around 2009, 10, 11, 12, something like that, your school could go into some sort of state, I forget exactly what it was called, but it was like, probation or something.
A lot of the laws that have been passed, a lot of the federal laws are essentially carrots for high test scores.
Because of this, too many schools are designed to get students to do well on a one-time test.
If I know as a principal that the superintendent is going to look at all of my standardized test data, in theory, I might want my teachers to teach to those standardized tests so that RM has the best data.
When we focus our efforts only on helping struggling students jump over the hurdle of mandated exams, the learning and opportunity gap widens.
However, despite standardized testing's many faults, it's still key to helping us evaluate our education system.
Standardization from a technical standpoint is necessary, where we're trying to use it to understand patterns of and progress in educational opportunities so that we can continue to improve.
The conversation is never about whether to have a test. The conversation, at least good conversations in my mind, are about how to use testing, how to improve the educational system.
While everyone agrees that it needs to be improved, creating real meaningful change has proven to be complicated. The No Child Left Behind Act, or NCLB, was passed in 2002. Its main objective was to increase academic proficiency by implementing accountability measures.
Citizens of America to stand up and demand high standards and to demand that no child, not one single child in America, is left behind.
It was the first time that you saw true accountability.
NCLB quickly became controversial because it made standardized tests the sole determinant of student achievement.
It really boxed students to say, if you're a successful student, this is what you look like.
It brought more attention to the achievement gap, but didn't provide consistently underperforming schools with the resources needed to improve, and instead placed sanctions on them or shut them down. While this led to improvement in some schools, many others fell further behind.
I think it was just unrealistic to just set this measure and think just because you set the measure, but you didn't say how we were going to do it, that everybody would achieve it.
Thus, the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, replaced NCLB in 2015.
I was proud to stand with President Obama on the day that we finally left behind No Child Left Behind.
ESSA improved many aspects of NCLB by allowing states more flexibility over how they chose to evaluate achievement.
We got to make our own plan. It wasn't like everybody had to do the same thing like with No Child Left Behind.
However, some still say it was reform without repair. States are still held accountable for testing requirements, reporting data, and sanctioning underperformance. And educators remain concerned about curricular narrowing and teaching to the test. Thus, ESSA has yet to remedy the national consequences that NCLB left behind.
They're basically the same thing, because it's not getting rid of standardized tests. Testing does have its place, but students are over-tested.
So are there areas that maybe should be tweaked? I think potentially there could be, and those might be in the areas of assessment. And ESSA sort of started rolling that ball, but we have a lot of work to do as a nation.
One of the fundamental building blocks to a functioning democracy is an informed, educated populace.
Education is truly one of those vestiges of hope.
Education is a cornerstone of our society, but is often easy to overlook compared to other splashier issues. So, to the incoming administration and new Congress, the clock is ticking, and there's a lot to be done.